What's up, I'm Tommy. Today I am reviewing the X4 Desire, a drone by Hubsan. It did come with these little clippy things that go at the blade guards, but I found that they're freaking terrible, and just with a little bit of jittering, they get loose right away, and then they fall into the blade of the actual drone itself and start the blades start cutting into it, and then it ruins the flight. This blade guard came loose and was hitting the propeller, and also ruins your video and can crash your drone anywhere. So I just got rid of these things, and it flies a lot better just like this. It also comes with an extra battery, but that battery is too big to fit into the battery slot. So I modified it with a little piece of double-sided tape. Sweet drone, right? So apparently that extra battery I installed, by just flying it there for a couple seconds, ran the battery all the way down really low, and then it just landed on my plants. So I got rid of that as well. So the battery that it did come with, it has 10 minutes of flight time. All right, so I got a freshly charged battery, and I'm gonna see how long this drone can fly on a full charge. First thing we gotta do is plug in the battery. Jam it in there. So it's calibrate compass 1, so you got to do this whole dance. Calibrate compass 2. All of the things are gone. All the calibration messages are gone. So let's see if we can fly it. Timer started.
And the reason I'm walking around like an idiot here is because the drone will not take off if you do not have GPS signal on both your drone and the controller, which means you can't really fly this thing inside because it won't get the GPS signal beyond a very thin wall.
That was 10 minutes of flight time. Which is not bad for a little $100 or $110, $150 drone or whatever I paid for it. I got this drone from Banggood, and that's like a Chinese Amazon marketplace thing. I've gotten other things from Banggood in the past, and they've all been really good quality, high quality components and great electronics. This thing's a piece of junk. And there's only really one thing that it's good for, and that's for learning how to fly a drone before you actually buy the drone you want to buy, like a Mavic or something. So what's wrong with this drone? The blade guards are just totally useless. The video that it takes, although it does take 720p video, the video is pretty bad quality for 720p, and there is, as you can see, no gimbal or any stabilizer or anything in the video itself, so it's extremely shaky. And I went out yesterday and today, and it was only slightly a little bit windy, and it was just, it was so shaky. You can see in the clip here. So the video is bad quality. There's no stabilizer or anything. The blade guards are terrible. It's very hard to control if there's any movement in the air at all. Just trying to keep it steady for my flight test, it went up and down and to the sides and all over the place. I almost crashed it just trying to keep it steady in one spot for 10 minutes. So I mean, I guess it's a great practice drone, again, if you don't want to crash your big drone. I noticed when the battery is getting low on the drone, instead of returning to home or doing anything safe, you know, it just stops flying and crashes wherever it is. I didn't get a chance to do a distance test on it, but I can't imagine it's going to go very far, and even if it did, the battery would probably die, and then you'd be out of a drone, or you might hurt somebody with it. It seems like the only goal that the maker had for this drone was to get a little piece of electronic that can go into the sky and record some type of video. And they did okay with that. It does come with this remote, and it has its own built-in screen, so you don't have to hook it up to your phone or anything. I wanted to try and do a flight test in the house with this, so it won't fly if both of these don't receive their GPS signal. So you can't fly it in your house, because even thick clouds will prevent this thing from hitting the GPS. It's very weak. This remote, let's get into this thing. It's like one solid piece of very hollow, thin plastic. You can tell when you click on it. Like, it just makes that "this is cheap plastic" sound. But I mean, it is functional, and it's a fully encompassed piece of equipment, which is more than you would expect. Usually I would expect with a drone this cheap, you would have to use your phone to control it. You don't have to. It does require a bunch of AA batteries. It doesn't have a rechargeable lithium ion, which kind of sucks. But let's try the return to home feature.
And one thing that I found basically shocking is even with all of its shortcomings, the return to home feature worked surprisingly well.
Here it comes. Oh, look at that. For the value of $100-something a few years ago, that wouldn't get you anything, and now it can get you a drone that you can play with a little bit. I wouldn't use this in the wind at all, because you will probably crash it. I can't say with great confidence that it's a good drone, but it is a good practice drone. That's really all it's going to be good for. So don't buy this unless unless it's your very first drone and you know that you're going to crash it. On the bright side, the propellers do seem to be fairly durable. I smashed it into a rock fountain and the propellers are just fine. And it does have a little slot for a micro SD card, so you can record video with it. But again, it's not great quality. So is a cheap drone worth it? Only if you are really just gonna, learn how to fly a drone. Thanks for watching. I'm Tommy. And this is Kona. She loves me.